Hello everyone, it is Muromensch back again with another video about some things about Arknights that you might want to know more information on. We had something new drop in with a recent update called Kernel Locating, and I wanted to go over whether or not kernel locating and honestly any of the kernel headhunting banners are the right fit for you. The answer might surprise you for some of you because if you've seen my overview of my account progression, what operators I have, you might think fire whistle. I didn't even do anything. But to get back on track, you might think that it's not worth it for you to go in and select these older operators. And I'm here to say that with what you've seen of my operator things, there were still operators that I needed that I do not have yet that are from the older batches. You really got to look at how long you've been playing and what kind of depth of utility do you have out of the operators that you have, and see whether or not it's better for you to get some of these 5 stars or 6 stars that have been around much longer just to help fill out the gaps of what you're missing. And also, when you get new operators, the other half of this video is going into what a trust farm looks like, where you want to get the trust up on these new operators that you've got, but what stages do you do it on? What are you looking for out of this? And I want to go over all those things, hopefully a shorter video today than what I've normally put out for Arknights. So we're going to start with the kernel locating here. As you can see with kernel locating, I already have my operators selected. I already went through this banner and pulled what I wanted to pull. That's why my numbers are so low as far as OP and Orundum, I mean, because I already did go into this and pull a few times in order to get these operators that I needed. So with kernel locating, the idea is that you are given a selection of 6 stars and 5 stars to choose your own banner and choose who you want to be able to pull and who is available in the shop. As you can see, I made Nightingale my 6-star store available operator, and I made Warfarin my 5-star available one. So no matter what you get with the banner that you choose, there's like 12 different 6 stars that are selectable. There's a whole lot of 5 stars that are selectable. And it will tell you when you pick this banner up, excuse me, it will tell you which operators you do not own yet of the ones that are available to select. So that way you can get what it is that you need. Should everyone use any of their resources, their pulling resources on this? There are some people I'm going to say yes. For the most part, if you've been pulling and saving for limited banners and you're already clearing like end game level content, like you're clearing out all of the extra stages and stories in like the events, and you're clearing out the challenge modes for those extra events, then you may not need to run this. But if you're having trouble with that, if you feel like there's some other strategy that you want to do that you're unable to do because you don't have certain operators, then this might be the perfect time to pick up the gaps that you're missing. I personally chose Warfarin as my 5-star shop selection because I have characters and strategies where being able to give them the buff that Warfarin gives them, with her skill 2 of like the plus 60% attack boost at rank 7, and then losing 3% of their health for 15 seconds, she's going to heal that back, but then give these powerful operators the ability to do a lot more damage. People do like Surtur Never Dies strategies. I thought that looked kind of fun. I already have a Surtur built up, so build up a Warfarin and be able to get the other medics involved that would keep her alive. Additionally, I can put down a fast redeploy against a boss and trigger Warfarin's ability as long as that person's the only person in her range, the only operator that can get her buff. Then give that to her and she'll deal an insane amount of additional damage. So for me, like, Warfarin was something I was missing as just like a better medic option. That's why I have Nightingale and Telopsis as well. I did not have any of those three medics on my account. Sora was just a personal selection because of the skin, so wanted the chance to roll her. I did get her. I got all three of the 5-star operators. Did not pull either Nightingale or Saria. And I didn't pull Warfarin. I also used the blue universal certificates in order to buy her after doing some pulls. I did hit a 6-star, but I pulled a duplicate Chen instead of the rate-up operators. So that's another thing I want to address, is you want to be careful on how much of your certificates you are spending here. It will take you about 40 to 50 pulls to get enough of the blue universal certificates in order to buy out the 5-star operator you have set in the shop. So, are you willing to pull that many times to get the 5-star you absolutely want to get if you don't get them in the first 10 pull? That's something to consider. Also, with yellow certificates, are you willing to use the yellow certificates, the distinction certificates, on getting that operator, because they also show up in that shop as well? There's an argument to be made for keeping those certs for the standard headhunting banners that have what will be harder to get units because they're more recent and they're not in the kernel headhunting or kernel locating. So say I needed Weedy. I personally don't, but say I needed Weedy more. Is that better than whatever older 6-star option I could get? Is it worth saving up all those yellow distinctions over months of time in order to be able to purchase a specific 6-star operator? I've started saving up to that point so that I can start getting that, and that way I save my pulls for banners that I need them for more, rather than trying to fish in these standard banners for those characters. But it was still the right move for me at this time. I skipped on the Hoel Hayek and Neolsai. I butchered both those pronunciations. That last limited banner, I skipped that. I looked at those two operators, said this isn't right for my account. I'm going to save up all this extra Arundum and then focus it on the selector coming up so I can get the last pieces I need. Does that mean I'm missing out on other opportunities? Yes, especially if you are free to play. I am personally not free to play. I am not a total whale, but I have dolphined in games at times and dropped in money when I really appreciate it. Hey, somebody's got to pay in order to make sure it's free to play for everybody else and keeps the game alive. I'm willing to do that when I'm having fun with it. So I'm earning those things a bit faster and able to use some of my resources loosely in comparison to other players in order to make these pulls. I say as well that if you're earlier on in playing, you don't have a lot of higher rarity operators or a lot of powerful operators, that it's not going to matter if you hold all of your resources for just one limited unit, especially if you can just borrow that unit for truly difficult tasks from somebody else that has it. Get your friends list up, go onto the Arknights Discord and match up with friend codes in order to get more variety of operators to borrow for those individual higher power things. But starting out, you may not even be able to clear content without at least getting a baseline. I feel like a lot of creators forget that. Like, even me at this point, after playing this game very solidly for like 6, 7, 8 months now, there's still missing gaps where I needed to do this. Your account may be in a point where you're better off, rather than chasing the new flashy thing that's coming out, get your standards and your baseline set so that you can clear more content, get more of the resources to make it easier to upgrade operators. There is a progression level in this game that a lot of people forget about. So the locating banner, the kernel locating banner, may be the right choice for you in order to get those things that you need. Now, so that's about all I want to say on the kernel locating itself. But then you look at, you just pulled these new operators. What does their trust look like? And you want to go in and see, like, I have a lot of people that are at 200%, as you can see here. We go down to the bottom. There's quite a few people at 0 that I've just never used in a stage, never used in my base, so they never got trust from any of that. And some people that got very little use, as you see as I'm scrolling through here. But you see that Batlopsis and Sora and Warfarin already have like 12%, 7%, 7%. And like I said, I just pulled these operators within the last day on my kernel locating. So how did I already jump that up so quickly? It's not a lot yet, but that's where trust farming comes in. And so if you heard of trust farming but don't really know what's going on, it's where you take a stage that is either rather easy to beat, that you need resources on, or maybe some more difficult stages that, again, will give you the materials that you need. There's some guide pictures that are online, very easy to Google search for them, concerning what are the best standard farming stages for each material that you're going to need. I definitely advise looking into them. If you've never looked at that, that will make it much easier to get what you need for your operators. With this stage, 1-7, you think, you already got so much stuff clear, you already have like Elite 260 operators, why are you in here? Well, this stage is the best stage for the Orirock cubes, and I need to farm them in order to produce the tier 3 Orirock clusters for the last thing that I need in order to promote Warfarin and create the materials I need there. This is the best use of my sanity, is actually getting the guaranteed rocks from this stage rather than trying to farm directly for the tier 3 material. I'm going to wind up with more tier 3 materials out of this stage than I am out of farming the stage that will give me the tier 3 directly. So I'm going in here. You see my auto deploy is lined up with a bunch of people, some people at Elite 1, Level 1, some people completely unmodified. In fact, the only 2 people in this operation that get deployed are Inez and Shang-Yu, and Inez is arguably not even necessary. We're going to start and show this auto while I'm talking, because I do need to farm more of the rocks. 1-7 is the mines of this game. You will wind up seeing this stage a lot as you play in order to get the materials you need. This is the side of Arknights no one really shows in videos. It's not flashy. It's not that crazy. You're taking on such early units with an overpowered operator, but this is what a trust farm is. You're watching it. I have Chang Yu speaking his mind forever, because that's just how he is. He will not stop talking. They've made it better. He stops eventually. But he can solo this entire stage. The Inez slowdown that I put in is just to make sure that I can clear out some enemies faster. It's not necessary for this specific strategy. But I keep her in just as a complete failsafe. I don't think it would ever go wrong, but just in case, she's also there. So now the other 10 slots that you see at the bottom, they're all operators I'm not going to deploy at any point during the stage. I don't need them. So they can be anyone I want them to be. And now I've completed the stage, I get the resource that I need, at least one of those Oryrocks, and you see all member trust increase right over there. All of those operators just got that trust level up. So that 7% that you saw on Plopsis and Sora, the 12% you saw on Warfarin, they are going to keep going up while I'm also earning what I need as far as resources. So you might also ask, hey, I set this up before and I beat it already and I had a bunch of operators that were just gaining trust. Well, now they're all at over 100% because you want them at 100% for those benefits. Or you have them up to 200%, so that way, hey, I can make this a support operator and someone else can borrow them and they will be able to borrow them at 100% trust. I've completely maxed that out, and now this auto isn't giving me any more trust. Well, that's what making such an easy trust farm really helps with. If it's a stage you're constantly farming and you've already perfected a low operator count like this one, this is very easy. I just have to put down Inez, put down Changyu, activate Changyu's skill 5 times, then it goes to auto activation with the extended range, and I have to do nothing else. I reset this an hour ago just to show you guys this. It was a very easy clear to repeat, so I could turn off the auto, go in, do the clear with a whole new team that all needs trust again, and then go back in and farm this stage and not just get the materials, but also get more trust. It does take a while. I am going to look, because I showed you before I went in what the trust looked like for them, and we're going to scroll and see if they are still at that 7% mark. You can see that they're not. 8%, 8% Warfarin, still at 12%. I'm glad it actually did that, because it's going to take a lot of stages to get trust up. It is not a couple matches and you're going to get 10%. It's going to be 3, 4, 5 stages for you to get a full percent of trust out of it. So setting multiple like trust farm style clears where you can use 1 or 2, maybe even 4 ops, maybe even 6 ops if you need that many in order to clear the stages that will get you the resources you need. You also get the ability to watch that auto the first time you farm it, see how you cleared it again, just to make sure you've got all the pieces in place in order to clear the stage, and you remind yourself of how you cleared it. Then you go back in and change out those 6 or 8 or 10 other operator slots that don't actually need to be someone with any investment, and be able to put in the people that you know you want to work on, you know you want to promote, and be able to earn that trust a lot faster. So that is about all I've got today. I will be working on Warfarin. Let's go back in and actually, so I can show you guys how quickly I made progress. I sat on a lot of stuff, but like I told her yesterday, I've already got all of this set up. The only thing I need at this point is these 5 things, and the only thing I need to make them is the rock clusters. So I'm going to finish that up. I'm going to get her promoted. I'm going to get her ranked up higher, and hopefully soon you start seeing clears with this little kernel locating gem that I picked up. And I hope this helps you decide whether or not kernel locating pulls are right for you. If you're earlier on, they may very well be. Look into what operators you don't have and what you do have. See what style of play you have and what you wish you had and you could work with, and see how much you're willing to spend on just more basic operators that your squad just needs. And then take the time to go back to older stages, look up that trust farming, that the guides for what stages to farm for the materials you need, and get your trust farm set up so that you can easily change those things out. So no matter what thing you're farming on a constant basis, you're able to get all of your operators the trust that they need and the materials that they need as easily as you can. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Sometimes it takes some steps back and some not pretty and flashy gameplay, but that's what makes this such a good game to jump in and out of. You can take a day of just farming materials and not really have to think about the strategy. And you can take other days to really play with the toys that you've built up over time. So hopefully this has been a help for you. This has been Muromensch. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else you'd like explained or like to see, or anything else you might like my thoughts on. If you just enjoy my perspective on different things, whether or not you think it's right, just enjoy hearing different sides of what everybody thinks about this game that's been out for 4.5 years now. And as always, have a good day, evening, night, and life.